The news came quietly, too quietly for someone like Yu Menglong, a name that once lit up screens with his warmth, grace, and artistry. There was no warning, no public hint, no visible pain. Only silence. And then, just like that, the world woke up to headlines whispering the unthinkable. Yu Menglong was gone. Fans froze. His friends didn't believe it. The entertainment world stood still, not because death had arrived, but because it felt unreal. They said it was natural causes. But nothing about Yu Menglong's life, or the way it ended, felt natural. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story to keep the light burning for truth and compassion. Before his death, Yu Menglong was preparing for something new, a comeback project that insiders said would reveal a different side of him. He had been quieter online, more reserved, but those close to him said he was reflective, not broken. He was finally finding peace, one colleague whispered. But others weren't so sure. His last public message, a cryptic note on social media, reads simply, "Not every silence means peace. Sometimes it's the only way to scream." The post vanished hours later, and the next day he was gone. Was his death natural? Or was there something attached to it? People began asking. Too many questions. Too many coincidences. Neighbors reported unusual movement near his home days before. His last calls showed several missed numbers from someone saved only as L. And then there was the matter of his unfinished letter, found in his journal, one that ended mid-sentence. "If one day they say I left, remember it wasn't." The ink stopped there. The rest of the page was stained by something darker than time, maybe tears, maybe something else. Behind every celebrity smile lies a story fans never see. Yu Menglong was gentle. Too gentle for an industry built on pressure and performance. Friends say he was dealing with quiet battles, not addiction, not scandal, but betrayal. Someone close to him had turned cold. A deal gone wrong. A trust broken. An inner circle filled with whispers of jealousy and power. And when a man like Yu Menglong, known for his calm, starts distancing himself, it isn't without reason. He was protecting something or someone. But from what? Or from whom? 2 days before his death, he was seen leaving a quiet cafe in Beijing. Witnesses said he looked lost in thought. He had a small black notebook, a cup of coffee untouched, and eyes that carried stories he'd never told. That night, he made a phone call that lasted 19 minutes, to a number now disconnected. No one knows what was said. Only that, hours later, his apartment lights stayed on until dawn. By morning, the light was still there. But he wasn't. The official statement came hours later. Actor and singer Yu Menglong passed away due to health complications. Health complications. 2 words that felt too clean for a world that knew him as strong, vibrant, and full of energy. Fans flooded his last post with comments like prayers. "Tell us this isn't real. Please wake up. Justice for Yu Menglong." And that hashtag Justice for Yu Menglong became more than a trend. It became a movement. Clips of his performances resurfaced. Interviews where he smiled through exhaustion suddenly felt heavier. Every gesture, every silence, every glance now analyzed, now mourned. Fans refused to accept the official version. They began piecing clues together. The deleted post, the missing CCTV footage outside his home, the changed statements from his management. Something didn't add up. And so, they demanded answers. They wrote letters, held candlelight vigils, and even reached out to journalists who had once worked with him. They said, "If we don't ask for the truth, no one will." A small group of independent reporters began digging. One leaked message revealed that Menglong had been preparing to expose a contract dispute involving high-profile figures in the industry. Another mentioned he was threatened to stay quiet. Suddenly, those who once smiled in interviews beside him refused to talk. Some even unfollowed him after his death, silently erasing traces of connection. But the truth has a way of fighting back. Documents began appearing online, unsigned, incomplete, but carrying his initials. They hinted at blackmail, at betrayal, at a love he couldn't publicly protect. Yet beyond the mystery lies something deeper, the human story. Yu Menglong was not just a name. He was a soul who carried light even when surrounded by shadows. Those close to him said he never sought fame, he sought meaning. He wanted to create, to heal, to show that gentleness could exist even in chaos. That's why his passing feels heavier. Because the world didn't just lose a star, it lost a kind of purity that rarely survives in fame's spotlight. And that's why fans say justice isn't just about finding who, it's about protecting what he stood for. Months later, the movement only grew stronger. Petitions gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures demanding a full investigation. Journalists reopened old files. And a group calling themselves Light for Menglong began sharing anonymous tips and screenshots that pointed toward industry manipulation. His parents remained quiet, their grief too heavy, too private. But in one rare moment, his mother said softly to a reporter, "If my son had secrets, it's because he was trying to protect others." That was his heart. Those words changed everything. Justice, for them, wasn't just about who caused his death, it was about ensuring that silence no longer wins. Today, when fans talk about Yu Menglong, they don't just remember the actor. They remember the man who smiled through storms. The man who believed that kindness is not weakness. The man who may have carried truth too heavy for one heart alone. His story, whether written by fate or human hands, has become a symbol. A reminder that behind every fame, there's a fight unseen. And behind every silence, a story waiting for justice. And so, the world keeps asking, was it truly natural? Or was there something darker, something attached to it, something that still hides behind the smiles of those who knew too much? Perhaps the truth will emerge one day, like dawn breaking after a storm. Until then, the echo of his name remains, not as a rumor, but as a call. Justice for Yu Menglong. Light for Menglong. Truth never dies, it just waits for courage. Maybe he's not gone. Maybe he just became the light he always gave others. And maybe that's the kind of justice the world cannot take away. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the story to keep the light burning for truth and compassion.